Rin Calder had never imagined his quiet life as a maintenance engineer would carry him to the fringes of the Orion expanse, let alone into the company of alien royalty. He didn't even know it at first. All he saw, when the request came through on the Union Forward Outpost comms board, was a damaged suit of advanced battle armor in need of field repairs. That was what Rin did, fix things. Ships, drones, atmospheric filters, weapons with cracked plasma chambers, and yes, even combat exosuits. He had the patience for it, the hands of a surgeon, and the stubbornness to coax broken machinery back into working order. The suit was unlike any he had worked on before. Sleek, organic curves flowed across plates of shimmering obsidian alloy. Power conduits pulsed faintly like veins beneath skin. The helmet had been sheared open by a plasma bolt, and internal circuitry was scorched. Whoever had worn it had nearly died. The alien woman who brought it to him stood silently by the repair bay, towering over him at nearly 2 meters, her presence commanding without words. Her skin shimmered with faint iridescence, shifting colors under the harsh lights. Her eyes were a luminous silver, unreadable, watching every movement of his hands. Rin tried to act casual, though his heart thumped faster than a hammer on steel. "So," he said, setting the ruined helmet on his workbench, "you were in quite a fight. What hit you?" Her voice was low, melodic, but carried authority. "An enemy thought they could end me. They were mistaken." Rin whistled softly. "Lucky for you the shot didn't breach the core. This kind of armor, if its reactor destabilized, you wouldn't be standing here." She didn't answer, merely inclined her head slightly, as though acknowledging his skill without granting too much. He introduced himself because silence made him itch. "Rin Calder, Union Maintenance Corps." A pause, then she said, "Lysara." Nothing more. No clan, no title. Just a name. Rin shrugged and got to work, not knowing that Lysara was far more than a name. Not knowing he was repairing the armor of Lysara Kael'thur, sovereign queen of the Veilborn Dominion, an empire that spanned dozens of worlds and commanded fleets capable of scarring suns. To him, she was just another soldier with busted equipment. The repairs took time. Days turned into a week, and Lysara remained near the bay, always watching him. She rarely spoke, but when she did, her words cut sharp and deliberate. Rin found himself talking to her anyway, rambling about minor frustrations with Union protocols, the absurdity of requisition forms, and the joy of coaxing stubborn engines to life. Sometimes, he thought he saw the faintest smile tug her lips when he described human absurdities. Other times, her gaze grew distant, as though remembering things far beyond him. One evening, as he welded a fractured chest plate, he asked, "So, Lysara, what about you? Military, I'm guessing." Her silver eyes flicked to him. "In a manner of speaking. That armor." He tapped the blackened plate. "It's not standard issue. Custom build, lattice-forged conduits, regenerative shielding. This is elite stuff." She tilted her head. "And you can tell all that simply from touch." Rin grinned, wiping sweat from his brow. "That's my gift. Machines talk if you know how to listen." Something softened in her gaze then, just for a moment. She murmured almost to herself, "Few can hear what lies beneath the surface." He didn't press her. He liked mysteries, and she was full of them. But the mystery thickened when strange visitors began arriving at the outpost. Sleek Veilborn cruisers dropped into orbit, their insignia carefully concealed. Men and women cloaked in shimmering armor stalked the halls, their movements sharp, protective, as though guarding something or someone. Rin barely noticed, too engrossed in the repairs. The suit was a marvel. Its living metal framework seemed to respond to his hands, knitting itself when he applied the correct sequence of pulses. He found himself fascinated, almost enchanted by the design. One night, as he tested the rebuilt arm guard, Lysara approached silently behind him. "You handle it with reverence," she said. Rin shrugged. "I respect good engineering. Whoever designed this." They weren't just building armor. They were building trust between wearer and machine. That matters. She regarded him long, then asked a question he did not expect. "Do you trust easily, Rin Calder?" The torchlight reflected off his goggles as he paused. "Not people. Machines, though. They're honest. They don't lie. Either they work or they don't. People are messier." Her expression was unreadable, yet something flickered in her eyes, as though she weighed his soul in her hands. The illusion shattered 2 weeks later. Rin was summoned to the docking ring by urgent alarms. Union officers scrambled, shouting reports. Unidentified fleet inbound. He ran to the viewport, and his heart seized. An armada of Veil-born warships, their hulls glowing with power, encircled the station. Dozens, perhaps hundreds. "Gods!" whispered a technician beside him. "That's a Dominion fleet. What the hell are they doing here?" Rin felt the pieces click together. The armor, the mysterious escorts, Lysara's careful silence. His stomach dropped. She wasn't just a soldier. She wasn't even just an officer. She was someone who commanded entire fleets. The station's commander, a grizzled colonel, stormed into the repair bay where Rin had rushed back. Lysara stood there already, fully armored now, the suit gleaming like a midnight storm reborn. The colonel pointed at her. "Ooh. Identify yourself. What business do you have bringing a Dominion fleet into Union space?" Lysara stepped forward, the room seeming to shrink around her presence. When she spoke, her voice reverberated like steel drawn from a sheath. "I am Lysara Caelthur, sovereign queen of the Veil-born Dominion. I came under threat of assassination, wounded in battle, and sought refuge here. My fleet arrives not as conquerors, but as guardians of their queen." The silence was crushing. Every officer in the room stiffened, pale. Rin's wrench clattered to the floor. "You're a queen," he stammered, incredulous. She turned her gaze on him, softened just slightly. "And you, human engineer, are the one who restored my shield, rebuilt my strength, and treated me not as a monarch, but as a being of flesh and blood. For that, I owe you more than you know." Rin's mouth worked soundlessly. His hands shook. He remembered every casual joke he'd made, every time he'd sworn at the stubborn wiring, every moment he'd spoken to her like she was just anyone. He thought she might be furious. Instead, Lysara extended her gauntlet hand, resting it lightly on his shoulder. "You saw me when others only see a throne," she said. And then the war came. Climax. Assassins struck during the fleet's arrival, cloaked ships slipping through defenses. Explosions rocked the outpost as boarding parties surged through the corridors. The Dominion loyalists clashed with traitors in a storm of plasma fire and screaming alarms.